Canada's immigration policies are one of the most lenient in the world. Over the years, more and more people have taken advantage of this to enter the country illegally. The question is, who are these people and where are they coming from? Find out in this video. Number 10. Mexico. Mexico struggles with several challenges. From crime to violence to insecurity, the list is almost endless. Its unstable economy has resulted in the closure of several businesses. Foreign investments are almost non-existent, leading to limited job opportunities, and most importantly, a low standard of living for a major percentage of the citizens. Like Mexico, Canada shares borders with the United States. Every year, several illegal Mexican immigrants troop into the United States and, by extension, Canada. In fact, for some, it is better to move to Canada, where they will be accepted and treated well, despite being illegal immigrants. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end well for all of these illegal immigrants. Although they successfully find their way in and even gain access to basic amenities like healthcare, electricity, and other. Achieving the standard of living they seek is still significantly difficult. This ultimately makes their journey to Canada useless in the long run. Number 9. India. Being one of the world's most populated corrupt countries, India does not need to offer its citizens encouragement to flee the country if they desire a better life. For most people in India, a better life simply equals a decent meal on the table, stable electricity, water, and basic healthcare. These are things that are easily accessible to both citizens and non-citizens of Canada. The allure of securing this kind of lifestyle increases the motivation of Indians to make the dangerous journey to Canada. They conclude that it is better to die attempting to remain in India, living out an existence that is at best horrible. As expected, the leniency of the Canadian government towards immigrants, both legal and illegal, has only encouraged more and more Indians to brave it into what is now their own promised land. Unfortunately, the number of illegal Indian immigrants has only increased over the years. Number 8. China. Like most prosperous countries, China has a clear divide between the rich and poor, and several citizens find that they are at the short end of the stick. This means consistently working themselves to the bone, just trying to keep up with the expensive cost of daily living. People who suffer most are those from the rural areas and the middle class, who are usually caught in the middle. These challenges make it difficult to achieve the standard of life that they would want for themselves. To achieve this, they opt to live in a country like Canada. Here's why. Canada has a reputation for welcoming immigrants from all walks of life. In fact, it offers one of the easiest transition processes for immigrants. One would think that this would encourage legal migration into the country. Rather, a lot of Chinese citizens use illegal routes into the country, knowing that they would be welcomed without prejudice. Number 7. Philippines. The Philippines has a large and growing population, but its economy has struggled to create enough jobs to keep pace. This leads to high unemployment rates, particularly among young people. Filipinos who manage to find work face low wages, long working hours, and poor working conditions. This drives many to seek better paying jobs abroad, including Canada. The country is equally prone to natural disasters like typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. Climate change exacerbates these risks, making it difficult for people to maintain stable livelihoods. For most, the solution is to simply leave the country. Since Canada has a far better economy in comparison to the Philippines, Filipinos who travel there often have to send money to their family back in the country. Unfortunately, the Philippines is heavily reliant on these remittances from overseas Filipino workers. Put together, this amounts to billions of dollars that are sent back home each year. Number 6. SRI Lanka. Sri Lanka is a country that heavily depends on imports, particularly for fuel, food, and machinery, making it vulnerable to fluctuations in global prices. Since most of these things are imported, there are only a few industries in operation that provide high-paying jobs for the citizens of Sri Lanka. This means that most young people have to settle for jobs that cannot provide enough for them. Those who are fortunate to get high-paying jobs also suffer because the country's currency isn't worth much. Canada becomes, for these people, a haven that would not only provide them with good jobs, but reasonable pay. This is possible for the educated ones, but the uneducated Sri Lanka pass challenges just to cross the borders and enter the country illegally. But most would argue that this pays off because they gain access to a better life provided by the government to everyone in Canada. Number 5. Bangladesh. Bangladesh is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, putting a strain on its limited resources and infrastructure. Its economy has struggled to create enough jobs, particularly in industries that provide stable, well-paying employment. Low wages and poor working conditions are common. That is not all. Corruption is widespread in Bangladesh, affecting the economy, politics, and daily life. Weak institutions and a lack of trust in government contribute to economic instability. Frequent natural disasters, such as floods, cyclones, and droughts, have also contributed to the downward spiral of the economy. Where does this leave its citizens? On the constant lookout for a decent life outside of the almost irrecoverable economy. Canada simply appends to be one among many abroad choices that the citizens of Bangladesh consider the safest, promising option. Since Canada has lenient immigration policies and offers itself as a sanctuary country to illegal immigrants, citizens of Bangladesh move there in large numbers. Number 4. Jamaica. Jamaica has a significant debt to GDP ratio, limiting its ability to invest in essential public services and infrastructure. It also has an economy that is heavily reliant on tourism, agriculture, and mining, making it vulnerable to fluctuations in global demand and prices. There's also limited access to good education and training. The few who can enjoy this privilege soon discover that the environment is not engineered to sustain them, particularly if they have big dreams and goals. On the other hand, Canada offers a place to accomplish all of these. While it offers easy access to educated Jamaicans, the uneducated ones aren't so fortunate. This is why they decide to enter the country illegally. When illegal Jamaican immigrants arrive in Canada, they are forced to take jobs in sad working conditions. The reality is quite different from what is expected, but most stick it out because the alternative is to return to their broken economy. Number 3. Haiti. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Naturally, it struggles with low to zero economic growth, a high rate of poverty, and relies heavily on foreign aid to run itself. The country has a free market economy with low labor costs, but it's been hindered by a lack of investment, limited infrastructure, and a shortage of skilled workers. Agriculture is a significant sector, with major crops including coffee, mangoes, and cocoa. But the industry is vulnerable to natural disasters and environmental degradation. Several citizens of the country are not waiting to see what becomes of the country and themselves by extension. Every year, more and more people leave to find better lives in other countries with better economies. Countries like the United States and Canada have become hot spots for Haitians over the years. This is partly because of their friendly immigration policies, but also because immigrants can have jobs once they get into the country. Number 2. Pakistan. Pakistan is one country that is known for wars with neighboring countries. As one would expect, this has impacted the country negatively. Natural resources like clean drinking water are scarce in the country. The economy is nothing to write home about. There are no industries, certainly no investments, and it is obvious that no one can thrive there. Most Pakistanis escape the terrorism and lack in their country to seek asylum in other countries, particularly Canada. But recently, Canada has implemented stricter measures in considering asylum seekers, leaving more and more Pakistanis helpless. This has resulted in illegal immigration. Pakistanis who find a way to enter Canada are sure to find others like them who are willing to accommodate them. Also, the Canadian government does not treat illegal immigrants harshly. So many know if they can find a way to get in, all will be well. This is why the number of illegal Pakistani immigrants in Canada has yet to see a decline over the years. Number 1. Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa. Several of its citizens are scattered in different nations across the globe. Nigeria largely depends on the exportation of oil for revenue, and over the years, the steady decline in oil prices has contributed to the decline of its economy. Although Nigeria is rich in other resources, it suffers, like most poor countries, unable to provide job opportunities, better wages, and a better standard of living for millions of its citizens. Most Nigerians take matters into their own hands and make an effort to get out of the country. While Canada had made stronger effort than most countries to create opportunities for Nigerians to get into it legally, those who are unable to meet up with the requirements decide to do it illegally. Since there are so many Nigerians already residing in Canada, it is quite difficult to know the number of illegal immigrants in the country. Worse, it is difficult to tell the actual number that still make their way into the country each day. Canada is making efforts to check the influx of these illegal immigrants, and we can expect a reduction in the years to come. We have come to the end of our video. Thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content.